Hello friends, today we will start from section 9 of Evidence Act. Facts necessary to explain or introduce relevant facts. I am reading the section. Please read with me. Facts necessary to explain or introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact, or which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact and issue or relevant fact, or which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant, or fix the time or place at which any fact in issue or relevant fact happened, or which show the relation of parties by whom any such fact was transacted, are relevant insofar as they are necessary for that purpose. I will explain this section part by part after explaining the illustrations. I think after going through the illustrations, this section will become more easier for you to understand. Illustration A. The question is whether a given document is the will of A. The state of A's property and of his family at that date of the alleged will may be relevant facts. So here the question is whether a given document is the will of A. A will has been placed in court for probate. Now the question is whether that is the original will of A or not. Now the state of A's property, whether the property as mentioned in the will was in the name of A or A's family, the state of A's property and of his family at the date of the alleged will may be relevant. Illustration B. A sues B for libel imputing disgraceful conduct to A. B affirms that the matter alleged to be libelous is true. The position and relation of the parties at that time when the libel was published may be relevant facts as introductory to the facts in issue. Now I am going back to the section. Again I am reading the section. Facts necessary to explain. The illustration A is explain or introduce a facts and issue or relevant fact. Illustration number B is introduction of facts in issue or relevant fact. How? A sues B for libel imputing disgraceful conduct to A. B affirms that the matter alleged to be libelous is true. The position and relation of the parties at that point of time when the libel was published may be relevant as facts introductory to the facts in issue. A and B at that point of time when the libelous statement was issued has some sort of enmity or disagreement. So these relation and position of the parties are relevant because these are introductory to the facts in issue. Facts in issue, what is facts in issue? The libelous statement. The particulars of a dispute between A and B about a matter unconnected with the alleged libel are irrelevant. The particulars of a dispute between A and B, the enmity is relevant, but the details of that enmity, whether the enmity was correct or not, whether the allegation, enmity means I have some allegation against you and you have some allegation against me, and based on that allegation we both could not come to a particular point. So an enmity accrued. So the enmity is relevant, but not the grounds, cause of that enmity. These are not here relevant. Illustration C. A is accused of a crime. The fact that soon after the commission of the crime, A absconded from his house is relevant under section 8. I discussed in my earlier episode. In the fact that soon after the commission of the crime, A absconded from his house is relevant under section 8 as conduct subsequent to and affected by facts in issue. The fact that at the time when he left home, he had sudden and urgent business at the place to which he went is relevant as tending to explain the fact that he left home suddenly. So, the fact that at the time when he left home, A is accused of a crime. And under section 8 of Indian Evidence Act, it is relevant that after commission of the crime, A suddenly left home. This is relevant. Now, there is and further improvement. Further improvement in under section 9. What is that? The fact at the time when he left home, he had sudden and urgent business at the place. That means the explanation of his sudden leaving of home. He left home after commission of the crime is relevant. Now, the reason for which he suddenly left home is also relevant as to explain the fact that he left home suddenly. The details of the business on which he left are not relevant, except insofar as they are necessary to show that the business was sudden and urgent. A's mother, who lives in A's native place, suddenly got sick, and for that reason A had to leave the place of occurrence suddenly. The fact that at the time when he left home, he had sudden and urgent business, the illness of his mother. At the place to which he went to his native village. And at his native village, his mother had sudden stroke, cardiac arrest, and was admitted to hospital. And due to that urgent and sudden piece of business, A left the place of occurrence and went to his native village. This is relevant, as it is to explain this incident, this thing is the explanation of his sudden leaving of the place of occurrence. But the details of the business on which he left are not relevant. Whether the chest pain of A's mother was due to some acidity, or it was a cardiac arrest, or it was something else, these are not relevant, except in so far as they are necessary to show that the business was sudden and urgent. Only you have to show that the business for which A had to leave the place of occurrence was sudden and urgent. The illness of A's mother was sudden, and her hospitalization, her serious condition, that was an urgent situation. So these are relevant. But whether the chest pain of A's mother was due to acidity, or due to cardiac arrest, or due to any fracture or anything else, these are not relevant. Illustration D. A sues B for inducing C to break a contract of service made by him with A. C, on leaving A's service, says to A, I am leaving you because B had made me a better offer. This statement is a relevant fact as explanatory of C's conduct, which is relevant as fact in issue. I have a service contract with you that I will have to work under you in your company for 2 years. Now, Mr. X provoked me, instigated me to leave your company by breaking the service contract and lured me for paying higher amount. And due to such instigation, provocation, I left your job. And at the time of leaving your job, I told you that I got a better opportunity, better salary offer from Mr. X. That's why I am leaving your job by breaking the service contract. This statement is relevant because this is the explanation of my conduct. Conduct means the breaking of service agreement. Explanation, illustration E. A, accused of theft, is seen to give the stolen property to B, who is seen to give it to A's wife. B says, as he delivers it, says to whom? A's wife. A says, you are to hide this. B's statement is relevant as explanatory of a fact which is part of the transaction. Stealing of some property and hiding it, both are the part of same transaction, stealing. Now, A is accused of theft, and after stealing, A handed over the goods, stolen goods, to B with the instruction to hand it over to his wife and to tell his wife to hide this safely. And B went to A's wife's place and handed over all the stolen items and told A's wife that A told you to hide these stolen items carefully. This particular statement is the explanation of the same transaction, stealing and hiding. This is the link point between stealing and hiding. So this particular statement is relevant. Now, the last illustration. A is tried for a riot and is proved to have marched at the head of a mob. A just marching in front of the mob, the fast marching. The cries of the mob are relevant. The shout of the mob is relevant as explanatory of the nature of the transaction. What is the transaction? The riot. What is the nature of the riot? That is being explained by the shouting of the mob. The mob was instigated, mob was arranged, and the marching was arranged by A. A was the leader. And for this entire transaction, that is a riot organized by A. The shouting, the cries of the mob, the particular words of the shouting, these are relevant. Now I am coming back to the section again. Now it will be very easy for you to understand this section. Facts necessary to explain or introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact. Explain or introduce, or which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact in issue or relevant fact. Support or rebut an inference. Go to explanation C. Illustration C. I'm sorry. Illustration C, which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact in issue or relevant fact, or which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant, or fix the time or place at which the fact in issue or relevant fact happened, or which show the relation of the parties by whom such fact was transacted. The illustration of the libelous statement are relevant insofar as they are necessary for that purpose. So, at the very initial stage, understanding this particular section is a little bit difficult. When you find it difficult, I will advise you to go through the illustrations and understand the illustrations properly. After understanding the illustrations, read the sections thoroughly. You will understand it. You will not need anyone's help. You will not required to listen anyone's lecture. Now I am coming to the next section 10. Things said or done by conspirator in reference to common design. Things said or done by conspirator in reference to common design, where there is a reasonable ground to believe that two or more persons have conspired together to commit an offense or an actionable wrong. Anything said, done, written by any of such persons means persons who joined together to commit a particular crime. Anything said, done or written by any one of such persons in reference to their common intention. Persons joined together having a common intention to commit a crime or actionable wrong. After the time when such intention was first entertained by any of them, when they first joined together with that particular intentions, I and Mr. X are the friends, childhood friends, no issue. But 7 days ago, Mr. X and myself made a plan to cheat Mr. Ram. 7 days ago at 8:30 p.m. we discussed first about this matter and we agreed to do this crime. So 7 days ago, on that particular day at 8:30 p.m. is the first time that we conspired with common intention to commit that particular crime. I accepted my friend's proposal and my friend accepted my proposal. Both the proposals are with the common intention to cheat Mr. Ram. So, after the time when such intention was first entertained by any of them, either of the parties or any one of the parties of the crime, is a relevant fact against each of the persons believed to be so conspiring. If in the conspiration there are 5 persons, this will be treated, this will go against everyone. Is a relevant fact against each of the persons believed to be so conspiring, as well for the purpose of proving the existence of the conspiracy as for the purpose of showing that any such person was a party to it. Now I am going to the illustration. Very nice illustration. Reasonable ground exists for believing that A has joined in a conspiracy to wage war against government of India. The fact, listen it carefully, the fact that B procured arms in Europe for the purpose of conspiracy, C collected money in Calcutta for a like object, similar intention, similar object. D persuaded persons to join the conspiracy in Bombay. B met several persons in Bombay so that they can get more heads in the crime, waging war against the government of India. E published writings advocating the object in view at Agra, and F transmitted from Delhi to G at Kabul the money which C had collected at Calcutta. And the contents of the letter written by H giving an account of the conspiracy are each relevant. All these acts took place in different places by different persons, but all these persons are member of the same group with same intention. Their intention is to wage war against the government. So all these are relevant both to prove the existence of the conspiracy and to prove A's complicity in it. Although he may have been ignorant of all of them, it is not within the knowledge of A that B is doing this thing, C is doing this thing, D is doing this thing. A had no knowledge. But A, B, C, D, E, F, G all are working together with the same intention. And to promote that intention, that is to wage war against the government of India, they are doing different works at different places with the same intention. And A had no knowledge that what B, C, D, E, F are doing. B had no knowledge that what the others are doing. But although he may have been ignorant of all of them, and although the persons by whom they were done were strangers to him, B at Bombay advocated or persuaded different persons to join them for waging war against the government of India. Firstly, A had no knowledge that B is trying to join various persons from Bombay, and B successfully joined 50 persons in this wage, and A do not know who are the persons, and the persons who are joined by B did more several things with the same common intention. Although the persons by whom they were done were strangers to him, and although they may have been taken place before he joined the conspiracy or after he left it. A started his work on 1st of January 2022. B started his campaigning in Bombay on 7 January 2022, and B successfully joined 50 persons on 1st March 2022. So these persons who joined on 1st March 2022 are liable for the act done by A on 1st day of January, though they were not the member of the group on 1st of January. Though they do not know who is A, where is A, and what A is doing. Similarly, in the case of A had no knowledge that what B was doing and what the persons appointed by B they are doing and who are they. But A is liable for each and every act done by them, and they are also liable for each and every act done by A. Now I am reading the section again. It will become very easy now for you to understand. Where there is a reasonable ground to believe that two or more persons have conspired together to commit an offense or an actionable claim, anything said, done, or written by any one of such persons in reference to their common intention after the time when such intention was first entertained by any of them is a relevant fact as against each of the persons, note it, believed to be so conspiring, as well for the purpose of proving the existence of the conspiracy as for the purpose of showing that any such person was a party to it. I think now section 10 is clear for you. If you have any doubt, feel free to write to me. Don't hesitate. I will be very happy to answer all your questions. Section 11. When facts not otherwise relevant become relevant. Very peculiar. When facts not otherwise relevant become relevant. What is that? Facts not otherwise relevant are relevant, one, if they are inconsistent with the fact in issue or relevant fact. Note the word inconsistent. If they are inconsistent with the fact and issue or relevant fact. And number two, if by themselves or in connection with other facts they make the existence or non-existence of any fact and issue or relevant fact highly probable or improbable. I am reading subsection 2 again. If by themselves or in connection with other facts they make the existence or non-existence of any fact in issue or relevant fact highly probable or not probable. Illustrations. I am coming to this section after explaining the illustrations. Illustration A, very interesting. The question is whether A committed a crime at Calcutta on a certain day. The fact that on that day A was at Lahore is relevant. Plea of alibi. I will explain the plea of alibi in my later episodes. The fact that near the time when the crime was committed, A was at a distant place from the place where it was committed, we should render it highly improbable, though not impossible. Make it highly improbable, though not possible. Crime took place in Delhi, and at that point of time A was in Jaipur, so that at the time the crime was committed, on the day the crime was committed in Delhi, A was in Jaipur, makes it highly improbable that A has committed the crime. But there is a but not impossible that A cannot commit the crime because A was in Jaipur on that particular day, because it takes only 5 hours time to travel from Jaipur to Delhi. Highly improbable but not impossible. It is possible that A committed the crime in Delhi and traveled to Jaipur. It is possible. It is possible to come from Jaipur to Delhi to commit a crime and going back. It is possible, but improbable. Illustration B. The question is whether A committed a crime. The circumstances are such that the crime must have been committed either by A, B, C or D. Every fact which shows that the crime could have been committed by no one else and that it was not committed either by B or C or D is relevant. The question is, who has committed the crime? A or B or C or D? Anyone. Every fact which shows that the crime could have been committed by no one else and that it was not committed either by B, C or D is relevant. Now I am coming to the section once again. Read with me, you will understand it very easily. Facts otherwise irrelevant. Whether A was in Jaipur or not, it is irrelevant, but it becomes relevant when if they are inconsistent with any facts in issue or relevant fact. Number 2, if by themselves or in connection with other facts they make the existence or non-existence of any fact in issue or relevant fact highly probable or improbable. Now I think I could made it clear up to section 11 of Evidence Act, and in my next session I will start from section 12. My next session, my next video will become live very soon. Till then I will request you, I will advise you to read thoroughly the sections and along with illustrations. And if you have any suggestions to improve my videos, feel free to write to me, send me emails. You can talk to me over the phone number given on the screen, and if possible please share these videos with your friends who are interested in Evidence Act. Till then, goodbye, stay placed. Thank you.